Horseshoe fungus. Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are up at a brand new location, very close to the QEW and or the highway, which is right over here behind me. So I'm going to start hiking around, trying to find a different location that's a little bit quieter, as well as trying to find some interesting compositions today. The weather is a little bit chillier out. It's now about 5 degrees, but once you start hiking, it really starts warming up. So I'm going to start hiking down the trail and we're going to see if we can find anything. Talk to you guys in a minute. All right, so I've been hiking around for a bit. I finally came up to this little outlook area, and there's a very small kind of boggy little swamp down here that just smells atrocious. But in the background right there, there are quite a few brown leaves still holding on to the trees, maybe a bit of yellow too, and just a small speck of red. Now I don't really know if there's an actual image here. I'm just gonna kind of look around for a little bit, see if I can find anything. Thinking I might have to come back tomorrow. I don't know if we're gonna get any more light tonight. Well, yeah, the sun should still be up for another 45 minutes. Oh, we got a couple of mallards swimming around in the water. Ooh. All right, let's keep looking around. Let's see what's over here. I wonder how the ducks are able to swim in that. It smells so foul. No, I guess they are waterfowl. Looking around here, now there is a large amount of trees that kind of look a bit desolate on this side. We're gonna have to come back here next year when the trees start getting a little bit more life back into it. I think this actually might be a really cool spot. But for right now, with everything being dead, I don't know, it's hard to find anything. You can see all the green moss over there in the water. So there must be beavers or something in the water as they've dammed up this side over here, and then the water kind of crept around on this side over here. And see all around there. And then this is all of the area around me. When I was saying how the place looks a little bit desolate, I'm looking at a couple of different angles over here where I think I might almost see a shop, but I'm not sure. Especially with tomorrow, I'm gonna come back just kind of looking for spots that I actually view that I think I might like. Definitely tomorrow we're gonna have to come back here and definitely look at more of these pictures, because there's a tree all the way down the bottom over there. That one right there. I wanna see if I can maybe go down there tomorrow and have a little look at it. The problem is, as you can see right there, this is how close we are to the highway. So everything is just getting ridiculously louder now. All right, so while I was up here at the Red Hill Valley Trail, we've stopped at an area called the Bear Meeting Place. There is another story of great celestial bear that pursued across the skies by hunters. When you see the Big Dipper overhead, the Senecas say that the 4 stars of the Dipper represent the 4 legs of the bear. So we're gonna stop here and I'm gonna see if I can find any compositions, because this area is incredible. Now, of course, the highway is still close by. And right there, you can see how close we are to the highway, the Red Hill Valley Expressway. Now, the only picture that I've come across that I actually kind of like is the lone pine tree standing right there. This is the only photo of anything I've come across recently. So, I'm just gonna bring over all of my gear and my scooter, leave it over here, and then we can see if we can get a picture of that tree. So there are a few other evergreens kind of dotted all over the place, but I like this one where it's just kind of by itself. Now, with the highway over there, I don't want to get any of the vehicles actually in the picture. And as it is quite bright right now, and there are a few clouds in the sky, I'm gonna set up my camera. I'm gonna have to walk around here seeing if I can find an angle that I like. So it is quite bright out today, like crazy bright. There are a few clouds in the sky, kind of right now where the sun sort of is. So I'm hoping it will kind of cover up the sun, as literally behind where we're shooting right now is exactly where the sun is, of course. So I'm gonna give this a few minutes, see if the clouds kind of cover up over top. Now, because the sky is so bright, I'm having to underexpose it by almost 2 full stops. And of course, I can just bring back up the shadows later on, but just to be able to darken down the skies, I have to really overcompensate for this. So we're at f11, 1/80th of a second. So this one we're gonna do 2.5 times over underexposed, sorry. Now, because we're at full extension and there is a bit of a breeze out today, we have 10-second timer just to make sure there is no shake or wobble in this. Now it is +7 outside today, so it is a beautiful day. Great for photography. A little bit chilly, my ears feel a little bit cool, so I'm probably gonna have to put my hat on soon. But when I was riding up here, it was really warm. I was almost sweating. Oh. There's a couple of pine trees every now and then too, but I was gonna see I'll show you guys a panel of this entire area. There's a bunch of rocks here. So I was gonna try to find a way to be able to incorporate all of the rocks into this, but I'm not really sure how I would do that actually would look interesting. I was thinking I might put my drone up actually after and maybe just do a top-down view just to show you guys what this area looks like. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes and then we'll come back to that. Well, I've been sitting here waiting around for a little while and I kind of turned back and I saw that there is a couple of trees actually that still have a few of the brown leaves just very slightly hanging on to it. The only problem is when you zoom into it, you can see the tree on the right over there, how it has the 2 white splashes of paint. Now that marks the trail so you know which ones to follow as you're hiking down. However, it kind of detracts from the image, as you can definitely see that is man-made and somebody just splashed paint everywhere. So I'm going to try to find a way of just isolating around this tree by itself. Maybe the tree on the left, the dead one, that might help act kind of to anchor it a little bit more. But I'm not sure how I want to frame this up. Do I want to also bring in any of the rocks in the foreground? Zoom right back out so you guys can see it. there's quite a few of these rocks here. And they do have an interesting contrast to the rest of the green / brown and mostly dead leaves everywhere. So I'm going to try and find a way of being able to frame this up. My initial idea is to do a vertical, maybe a 16:9, just kind of narrowing in a little bit. So you see the rocks in the foreground leading you up towards that tree. Then you see the wall of rocks in the midground, then the subject itself. Although I am not sure if this might be a little bit too busy of a photograph. This might just maybe be too much. So I'm gonna have to try to maybe isolate this a little bit more. But I also have to be far enough away so that I can get the entire tree in frame, as I don't want to cut off any of the top, and I especially do not want to cut off any of the bottom where the rocks are. Now, this picture, as I was discussing earlier, that tree right there in front of me with the brown leaves, that is my subject. That is what I'm looking at. So, well, let's try a vertical. Let's see how this one looks. I already took one with horizontal. And a 1x1 crop seemed almost perfect for it. Now, what I have to decide is whether or not a 1x1 crop, a little 4x3, or a 16:9, which is a bit more narrow. Now I'm going to start with a 4x3 and then put a 2-second timer on. So in the foreground elements, we have a bunch of the rocks. I will insert a photo from up above when you guys can actually see that this entire area just looks like a bear paw. It is kind of interesting how you can see the tips of the nails, and then you kind of see the round little the pads on their paws, and then you see the basin of it over there on the bottom of it. So I am trying to incorporate some of those rocks in with the tree. Now, because there's a few clouds in the sky behind it, I am a little bit more tempted to actually leave some of those in the composition, as before this it was quite blue. There was really nothing going on in the background. So at least now there's actually at least a little bit of interest in the sky. Now, will that stay? I don't actually know. And then let's try one with 16:9. So all this does is 4x3 is a bit wider. This is going to narrow it in slightly. F11, 1/100th of a second. All right, now I'm going to insert this photo now. Let me know what you guys think about this one. All right, well, at least I was able to get a couple of pictures today. I'm not exactly sure how these ones are going to look when until I at least see it in the computer. But right now, with this kind of area from the aerial view, I was very impressed actually. It looks really interesting. Well, let's continue on our path and see if we can find any more photographs. Well, let's continue on down the trail now. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. So we're gonna go a bit closer to the highway now, as there is a small pond underneath down here, a small little, I think it's stale water, but doesn't really matter. We'll see if there is a composition. If I were to be able to set it up right here, I wonder if I can just get those green and slash yellow trees down there. I'm gonna have to take a quick photo. We're right in the middle of the road. I don't really want to stop here for very long in case anybody comes by. Hopefully nobody comes around the corner anytime soon. I'm gonna take a quick photo handheld. Focus in on the trees in the distance. Wow. All right, I'm gonna go up the trail a little bit and then we'll race back down the mountain. This is such a beautiful path. We have some golf courses over here. An additional golf course anyway. We only have about an hour or so of daylight left. Maybe a bit less. Yeah, about an hour or so of daylight left. I'm gonna have to start getting home and start editing this video. I really enjoyed that picture with the rocks in the foreground and kind of the half-dead tree. Now, I'm not sure how that last photo is gonna look. It'll be interesting whether or not it's even in the video, but you guys will know anyway. Thanks for stopping by the channel today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave me a comment, drop a like on this video, and we'll see you guys again in the next one. Have a good one.